You know what I love about this life as a man is that we get to choose who we are. Everything has a choice, and we are the decision makers. But most men run away from this responsibility. Most men run away from this level of authority. You see, a lot of us, especially in the West, we've been conditioned to have a slave mindset, a servant mindset. So now a part of you doesn't actually believe that you deserve the life that you're building because you've been so indoctrinated within the school system, within society's standards for what a man should be, that now you feel obligated and responsible for things that you cannot control. You feel as you are stuck in a framework that was never meant for you. And you'll find yourself like wishing and saying to yourself, well, why can't I have been born in another time? Or, think men had it easier back then. And that's not true at all, actually. You know, um, we are free servants in nowadays time. We are free slaves, basically, because they put pleasure in front of your face, they put comfort in front of your face, and they give it to you to keep you stuck where you're at. In these jobs, especially in corporate, where especially if you're a man of color, you're looked down upon. You're looked down upon, and if you're competent, you're overextended, overly used, right? You put your ass on the line, and you can't even get appreciation for that shit. This is reality. And you see that they put that carrot stick in front of you, one more raise, another bonus, and then next thing you know, your ass ends up on salary, overextending yourself. And now, if you underextend yourself, your performance is slipping, and there you go, your job is gone. This is the reality of society. With women, they've indoctrinated us that, they're horrible people, that there's no good women out there. You go on Instagram, and all you're seeing is all the shitty women. And then you see a bunch of males in the comments talking about, oh, well, there's no good women, and and dudes just heartbroken for the choices that they make. And that's what I love about this life, is that we get to choose how we see it. You see, my favorite scripture recently has been, the thoughts of the diligent lead only to plenteousness, but the hasty only to want. That's Proverbs 21:5. I've mentioned this scripture many times before, but it becomes truer by the day. You could look at life like that. Women are horrible. Businesses are too hard to fucking carry. The corporate America sucks. My job sucks. I suck. You know what I mean? And anytime you're constantly looking at your reality as lacking, it's because deep down inside, you lack as a man. You lack. You're in want. You're impatient. You're rushed. You're constantly under pressure. You're constantly being tested. You're constantly performing. That's the reality of this society, is that we live in a very performative society. Everyone is performing. But you see, those who choose who they are, the men that choose who they are, they get everything they want out of life. With peace, with truth, with authenticity. Authenticity, realness, truth is invaluable, because now you're choosing to be who the Most High made you to be. You see, men are afraid of AI taking over. Women are afraid of AI taking over. Why? Why are you afraid of that? Unless you're not real. I'm fucking real. I use fucking artificial intelligence all the time, but that shit don't think for me. And that's what AI is doing right now, but it's because we allow it. And you see the difference in perspective. You guys know on this channel, I fucking hate the word mindset. This is not a mindset. This is a view of yourself. If you're constantly looking at life, and you're constantly looking at people, and you're always wondering what they're lacking, it's because you're lacking within yourself, and you look at yourself with lack, with what you need or what you don't have, what you need to prove, right? And to continue the point in the beginning of the video, we get to choose who we are, and that's what I love, is that men, we have self-definition. I couldn't imagine being a woman today. Honestly, I feel bad for them, because a lot of these men, they ain't shit. A lot of them are males. Let's be honest. You know, a lot of them are males, and a lot of us have been males. I've been a male, and I chose to be a man. Nobody told me you're a man now. I chose that. I chose to be responsible for myself. I chose to provide for myself, spiritually, physically, mentally, nutrition, whatever, right? I chose that. Many of us have waited for society to tell us what to do, and then we're bonded to a framework that keeps everyone miserable. And it's our own fault. It's our own fault, really. And when you begin to accept that everything you do falls on you, all the blame falls on you, bro, life becomes freer. You suddenly be able to navigate and respond to life instead of react to life. You know, the blessing of the scriptures, it shows you how life should be. And many men of faith, as myself, I've fallen into this trap. We look at life how it should be versus how life actually is. But see, the thing is that we still get to choose how we view life. You see, for a long time, like I always talk about approaching women on this channel. I would approach women, but I didn't actually believe I could attract the woman that I want. So you know what I would get? I would get mirrors of my wounds, mirrors of the wounds that I've dealt with in the past, things that I've dealt with as a child. And I kept getting these women that would mirror my wounds. The woman is really an amplification of the men in the society. So if there's no good men, if there's no good woman, there's no good men. That's what we say when we subscribe to that ideology. But when you say to yourself, no, I actually believe I could find a good woman because I'm a good man, then you'll begin to see that, oh shit, your frequency, your energy, the Most High can now allow these women to come into your life because you're attracting them, because you're actually open to them. And you know what that looks like? You're not self-editing. You know, a good woman, scripturally is soft, feminine, nurturing, a pillar of rest, right? Able to build her house up. She gives her husband rest. You're going to bring out that essence inside of you so that way you could attract a woman like that. But it all comes down to self-definition. It all comes down to choosing who you want to be as a man. What kind of man do you want to be able to attract what you want out of life? You want to attract men who think like you, okay? Are you self-editing and rehearsing before you speak? Because men respond to authority. Men respond to leadership, to guidance, to direction. Same with women, especially women that are good, that are feminine. They respond to those things. So when you hold yourself back, you hold that energy back. You're holding yourself back from everything you desire. You're holding yourself back from everything you desire. And because of that, you don't get what you want. You don't get what you desire. Remember, the word want only means lack. We don't lack anything as men because we choose what attributes we want to carry. When you're self-defined, when you choose who you want to be, who you desire to be, nothing's going to get in your way. Because now, because of the man you are, you do things to express that. When you don't choose, you're reacting to life. You're chasing to prove to others that you're this guy. You're this guy. I need to prove I'm this guy, Women, they show themselves scantily clad to attract men who can only see with their eyes and not with their mind. And that is to say that they have no spiritual understanding. They don't see spirit. They only see body. And a lot of men will say, oh, well, why did they dress like this? Because that's all y'all see. And I'm going on a tangent because, that's what happens when you're not self-defined. When you don't have any definition of what you want in life. Most men don't know what they want out of life. They don't actually take the time to sit down and be still and think, and meditate and muse. What do I want out of my life? Not what do I think the guy on fucking self-improvement on YouTube told me what the fuck I should do. You know how many men are like that? Oh, well, I should just go to the gym because, they told me that it's very healthy for me. Do you actually like it? Do you actually like it? Or are you just doing it because you think it's good? Me personally, I've been building my body up since I was a kid. Since I was 14, 13 years old. And then I got fat. And then I went back to who I was. Why? Because it was actually inclined in who I am. I'm running a marathon right now. Why? Because it's a part of who I am. To constantly be pushing my mind physically, to put my body in discomfort. A lot of men perform that, which is why they can't ever stay consistent in the gym, which is why they can't ever stay consistent with their physique. You know what I mean? I know what I want in every aspect of my life. And that doesn't leave anything to chance. That shows the Most High, this is what I'm focused on. And focus is like fire. Fire burns, fire heats up, fire, it's intense. If your eye is single and full of light, it's going to stay on light. So when you have a single eye and you know what you want out of life, you're not going to be focused on the darkness around you. This is reality. But reality is what we make it. Our reality can be great. It can be grandiose. But our reality could also be shit if we make it shit. We create beliefs first, and then we go reaffirm to ourselves that those beliefs are true. So I always use the woman as an example because it's so true to life. If you don't believe that you deserve a good woman deep down inside because you think that all women are bad, that's all you're going to find. That's all your spirit is going to be open to. If you don't believe that you're as competent as you say you are, that's all you're going to find is stories to reaffirm that to yourself. And you know what? The mind likes to stay comfortable. So it's going to let you. And you're going to suffer through avoidance. You're going to suffer with an identity gap. You know what an identity gap is? It's when you know that you're meant for more. You could fucking be making millions of dollars a month and you still feel not enough. Why? Because you chose to feel that way. We have a choice. We all have a fucking choice. And it's better to put the blame on ourselves and recognize ourselves and self-define us, and choose who we're going to be as men rather than leave it a chance. Society doesn't know what the fuck it's talking about. A lot of these other males don't know what the fuck they're talking about, Even some of our own family members, let's be candid. You're going to have to go against the grain when you choose who you are. You're going to make people in your family feel uncomfortable because they're going to say, this is not how I raised you. Okay, well, we approve upon every generation. We approve upon every single generation. And I found that way did not work for me. It's no disrespect, it's no offense, but this is who I am. That's something that I had to do. I was set up to go to college. I was set up to, have a career. And I was 14, 15 years old fighting with my dad about that shit. I don't want to go get debt. I don't want to go collect debt. For those of you that did it, I hope that's not the case for you. I hope you used your degree. But for me, I knew that was never for me. Because that's all I could think about. Even within myself right now, I could have maybe not even been in debt. But I didn't give myself that chance. I always knew I was meant to be an entrepreneur. So I would fight with my father about it. I would fight with my mom about it. And when I decided to drop out of college, they thought I was insane. But you know what? I knew I was perfectly sane when I took that chance on myself to be the entrepreneur I always knew myself to be. So when I got the respect, when I got the, when I started getting the income, when my woman was responding and saying, damn, this guy's actually who he says he was, it was a beautiful moment for me. And it was a great moment because I proved to myself and I proved to my world that I am who the fuck I say I am. You see? Now, the problem was I couldn't sustain it, but that's the issue for another day. And, I chose those things. But see, performance, like I told you in the story, is very unreliable. It's not sustainable. You prove something and then you lose the drive. Why? Because it was never a part of who you are. It was always coming from a place of what you don't have. Rather, when you finally look at what you do have as a man, and you finally understand the attributes, the virtues, the things that actually make you different, the things that actually make you who you are, you'll say to yourself, wow, it's never been about the money, it's never been about the status, it's never been about the woman. Those come when you choose who you are. Why? Because you're real. Because you're authentic. Because you're true to yourself. And that makes life so much fun. So much fun. Because you're saying now you look at yourself like a computer. Oh shit, I could choose who I am. I could choose to be this guy. I could choose, I'm not the type of guy that that's going to be falling to lust. Boom, your identity sets. Now your decisions follow. Everything is an identity first, and then your decisions follow. Everything. I'm a man of the Lord. You know what that means? Everything I touch, I bless. And I genuinely believe that because that's scriptural. My body's a temple because I read it in the scripture. Now my decisions follow that. Oh, well, I can't eat fast food then because it makes my mind foggy. I have to make sure I'm not on too much caffeine because then it starts draining my energy reserves. Right now, I'm working on my sleep. I got to recover better so I could be a better man, so I could actually show up on camera fucking present. Your identity, who you are, is what you choose, and then everything you want follows. And then life becomes a fucking video game, and we're the main characters leveling up.